Kirsten, is there music?
Yes, we're actually fixing it right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning to our viewers from Hungary and good afternoon, Philippines. My name is Kiara from Digital Pilipinas, and I will be your voiceover host for today. Thank you for joining us in this webinar, Road to Philippine FinTech Festival, Philippines and Hungary webinar session. Today's discussion is a sneak peek into the country partnerships and topics that will be tackled at the inaugural Philippine FinTech Festival happening on October 17 to 21 at the Green Sun Makati, the home of Digital Pilipinas. Our event today is co-hosted by Digital Pilipinas, the largest private sector-led movement championing nascent technologies and cross-border collaborations to tech up the country, which is also staged to mount the inaugural Philippine FinTech Festival that is set to be the country's largest digital economies festival. Together with our partners from the Embassy of Hungary, this webinar will join the discussion about how the Philippines is shaping up to be the gateway to ASEAN and how Hungary is its partner as the gateway to Europe. The panel will also dive into how the industries of blockchain and fintech rally the agenda of digitalization across startups and various government institutions through the lens of the industry leaders. To start, let's listen to this message from Digital Pilipinas and World FinTech Festival Philippines convener, FinTech Philippines Association Trustee and Executive Director, and Geyser Maclang Communications co-founder, Ms. Amor Maclang.
Yona po Kivanok to all of you. Magandang umaga po at magandang araw sa inyong lahat. I am extremely pleased to see so many friends who we've recently met this year in our effort to try to build more bridges between the Philippines and a digital world. The most unlikely friendships and partnerships really come from places that you least expect. Although I've always been a big lover of Budapest with its amazing baths and its rich food, I never for a moment imagined what a tech giant this cute little country of 10 million people has turned out to be. So when we were introduced by the office of Yusek Perry, who I'd like to give a special shout out today, and Miss Lani, who said, Amor, you gotta meet DJP, you gotta meet the government of Hungary and the embassy of Hungary. At that point, I was also hearing about this intrepid country and this intrepid ambassador from other partners such as the Department of Trade and Industry, the Department of Finance, and also the DOST, all partners of Digital Pilipinas. And as Ambassador Tita had put it, the first day we met, boom, it was kismet, made in digital heaven. And since then, we've traveled to Hungary. We've done a couple of webinars together. And I'm extremely proud to be devoting one of our days in Digital Pilipinas to shine the light on the amazing work our technologists in Hungary are doing. But before I proceed, to welcome all of you to join us in building a Digital Pilipinas in a digital ASEAN, I'd like to run this very short video. Thank you.
The ASEAN economy is currently valued at over $3 trillion, with a population of over 600 million people. ASEAN is becoming the fourth largest economy in the world due to the impact technology has had in shaping cross-border collaboration and business in the region. The Philippines has become one of the fastest growing adopters of technology in the world. This has broadened the scope of local SMEs to engage in cross-border business. This is the first time that Philippine legacy brands are teching up, and we are bringing together industry leaders across various verticals to help solve the country's problems through tech. ASEAN is setting the pace as a global leader for technology and innovation, with a string of events in Cambodia, Thailand, Philippines, and Singapore that will dictate the future of our digital economy. This all begins in October at the Digital Pilipinas Festival. The Digital Pilipinas Festival is a week-long summit that will host the inaugural Philippine FinTech Festival and the World FinTech Festival Philippines, jointly with Elevandi, a non-profit by the Monetary Authority of Singapore and the organizers of the Singapore FinTech Festival. We are going beyond FinTech by bringing together ASEAN traditions, legacies, government leaders, technologists, investors, and startups into an ecosystem that connects local and regional industries through tech. For technologists, it's the opportunity to share their breakthroughs with the leaders shaping local and regional industries. For investors, this is a chance to discover innovative solutions to the challenges millions across ASEAN face today. For the government, it's the platform to understand policies that will define digital economies in the future. And for public attendees, it's the venue where they can meet, learn from, and be inspired by a host of leaders and innovators in person. The Philippine FinTech Festival and the World FinTech Festival Philippines will lay the foundation for cross-border collaboration, business, and partnerships through scheduled meetups between regional neobanks and wallets, an event on AI and blockchain, a hackathon on Web 3.0 executions, and sustainable finance with the Monetary Authority of Singapore and Oliver Wyman. Additional hackathons on InsurTech, EnerTech, and various industries. The Philippine pilot launch of the SME Digitalization Program through the SME Financial Empowerment Program with India, Ghana, and Singapore. The launch of trade associations for HealthTech, InsurTech, MarTech, RegTech, PropTech, and other relevant industry groups.
Together, let's build a digital Pilipinas through open finance.
Through e-commerce.
Through edutech.
Through fintech.
Mabuhay ang digital Philippines.
Let's build a digital Pilipinas together.
Shape the digital economy. Join us as we bring you the first leg in a tech-led journey across the ASEAN region. Join the Digital Pilipinas Festival as we bring you the World FinTech Festival Philippines and the Philippine FinTech Festival this October.
Thank you so much. And before I turn over to the mama of this partnership, allow me to just show you very quickly what's in store, not just for our Hungarian technologists, but also to the rest of the Eastern Europe and also Central Europe region, who we are all inviting to join the Hungarian platform as they go and visit the ASEAN region through the Philippines. The morning of this festival is all devoted to an ASEAN narrative with close to 200 of the top speakers in ASEAN and also in the Philippines coming together. We have regional ASEAN players coming from the rest of the region, such as Prudential, Temasek, Ant Financial, Tencent, Crypto.com, Affinity, and of course, the biggest players in the Philippines. The lunchtime is all devoted to encouraging more innovation via a series of hackathons and also pitch fests. The afternoon is when we go into a deep dive into the various industries within Digital Pilipinas that is needing teching up. There are also various summits from the Cooperative Summit, Web3, e-commerce, also at the same time, insurance. Evenings are all devoted to coming together in the spirit of further collaboration. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to our good friend, the Philippines' good friend, and certainly one of the dearest advisors of Digital Pilipinas. Without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to the host for the proper introduction.
Fintech has already changed the way people live and do business. It is transforming the financial services sector by providing new products and solutions for consumers, whether it is about making payments, storing their funds, investing, or even buying products. Ultimately, fintech is forever changing the future of finance, and this is only the beginning. Not only does digital transformation remain a top priority for fintech companies, but it is also important to remain innovative and equipped for the future of fintech. Now, let us all welcome the Ambassador of Hungary to the Philippines, Her Excellency, Dr. Titanila Todt.
Really big mabuhay to everyone from the Philippines, here from Manila. And I would like to send my greetings to Hungary. And I'm very happy to see our good friends from Hungary here. And hopefully today we can continue our good job with the Digital Filipinas team, as I'm pleased to note the tightened relationship between Hungary and the Philippines in the field of ICT and digitalization. With the professional delegations are flying back and forth between the two countries, I mean Asia, ASEAN, and Europe, and The region of ours, middle of heart of Europe, as we say in Hungary, I believe it's safe to say that we have done a really solid groundwork already with the Digital Filipinas and its partner, the Digital Success Program from Hungary. Let me give you a glimpse of the Hungarian ICT sector, so maybe you will have a little overview, and I can invite you for our common program to see what Hungary can offer to you. So the ICT sector is one of the sectors creating the highest added value in Hungary. The sector's production value provides 5% of the country's GDP. More than 4% of active employees work in the digital economy field in Hungary. The amount of goods and services provided by the sectors accounts for 30% of Hungarian national export. The continuous and dynamic double-digit annual surge observed in the digital economy greatly exceeds the country's GDP growth rate. 55% of domestic ICT companies' sales revenue comes from export and sales. So you really need to consider Hungary as a great potential partner. The sector, the ICT, is in continuous and dynamic evolution, as evidenced by the high number of innovative companies that have sprung up in recent years and the proportion of the fast-growing software and service exports. I would like to say a few words about the startup ecosystem. So let's say you have a startup here, you have a great idea, you are under the Digital Filipinas, and you would like to have your smart landing place in Europe, please choose Hungary. And why? Because the startup ecosystem has been also becoming more robust in the last few years. The cooperation between companies and universities in Hungary has also gained new momentum. Several programs help young people to reach their full potential, and companies were able to discover promising candidates for more efficient than ever. So the university and company cooperation is really strong, as we have a lot of company and university cooperations already with the Philippines. So I would like to encourage you to check your field, where you're doing your business, where you have your great startup idea, and maybe we can help you to find this already going on cooperation. On the talent pool and education side, I'm happy to say that there are 23 Hungarian universities with IT programs, and almost 25,000 university students continue their education in the field of IT. The government of Hungary therefore focused greatly on the development of digital infrastructures, from population register system, e-healthcare, mobile parking solutions, passenger information system, and also including a very important part from our point of view, that's the fintech solutions, as you will hear about this today and during the upcoming fintech festival. With its highly developed ICT sector, Hungary is an ideal gateway to the Central European region and to the EU. And of course, the Hungarian companies can offer the most advanced technologies and services on reasonable price to their counterparts here in the ASEAN and also in the Philippines. As we can see today soon, many excellent Hungarian ICT companies are interested in the Philippines under the aegis of the Digital Success Program of Hungary. I can assure you that among the Hungarian ICT sector, the fintech is one of the most exciting areas, and it's ready to expand. With these impressive figures, I sincerely hope that with our webinar today and with the Philippine FinTech Festival next month, we can explore future collaboration and business opportunities. Mabuhay, maraming salamat po, and let's start our conversation maybe.
Thank you, Dr. Titanilia Todt, for that insightful presentation that I'm certain many of our audiences across the region of Asia and Central Europe have learned from. Ultimately, the early adoption of technological innovation is the key to remaining competitive in today's digital environment. We now move on to our panel discussion. To start off, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our moderator for today's panel, Ms.
Sorry,
Amor.
Kiara, we also are welcoming as part of our keynote, the daddy of the Digital Success Program of Hungary, right? So let's introduce him, please. Thank you. Hi, Kiara.
Yes, sorry for the tech difficulties. As mentioned, we would like to give the floor to Mr. Jovi Laszlo, the Managing Director of Digital Success Nonprofit Limited. Sir, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon in the Philippines and good morning in Hungary. I'm Jovi Laszlo. I'm Managing Director of the Digital Success Program in Hungary, and since I think it was April, we've been working intensely with Digital Filipinas, and I firmly think that the Philippines is the best spot to start the business and expanding your business, your European business in the Asian region. We started our operations there. You know, we are a government initiative on digitalization, a comprehensive program. We are going on for like 7 years now. We are in a bit of a government transformation and reorganization, and we may get a new name in a few months, but we are going to continue our operation of technology transfer and startup mentoring and the aid of the digital companies in Hungary. We are dealing with over 200 companies at the moment, and it appears that we are going to incorporate the input program of Hungary, which also has like 300 or 400 digital startups mentored and accelerated. So I think we are going on and moving on. We started our operations just before the COVID, not the best timing, I suppose, because in the Southeast Asian region, because we had a business forum in Singapore at the end of 2019, and we were planning to visit all the other Southeast Asian countries because we had good experiences in doing business and partnering up with the companies and with the ecosystem of the ASEAN countries. Unfortunately, the COVID came, and for 2 years we couldn't travel much to that region or anywhere else. But this year we restarted our efforts, and I think it was a good choice to visit the Philippines and think I have to thank the embassy to organize the meeting with Amor because it's really a fruitful connection between our organizations, and we are seeing a lot of opportunities. You know, we are a small country, Hungary, and not have a lot of natural resources. So traditionally, we are good in brains. We are good in areas and sectors of operation where the biggest resource needed is the brains. And I think the biggest struggle for the Hungarian digital companies, but especially the fintech companies, is that the society in Europe and in Hungary as well is more like traditional, and it's hard to earn their trust through the digitization. They don't usually seek their answers through the digitization. And my biggest experience in the Philippines is that this society is so young, and they are open, and they trust the digital services. I saw at a big shopping mall that people are playing some NFT-based earn your money through playing a mobile video game stuff, but like thousands of people, which I think it's unimaginable to do at this time in Hungary, but we hope so that some high technology and new technology stuff is going to get as popular in Hungary or in the European Union as it is now in the Philippines and in the ASEAN countries. So that I think that those high technology stuff that our companies who are attending this meeting, and I hope that they are going to be attending the festival next month, are doing, is having a huge audience in the Philippines and in the ASEAN countries, and it is hard to even think about that 600 million plus people that live in this region and the amount of development and capital centered in this area of the world. So I think this is a great opportunity. There are lovely hosts and there are, I think, eager companies to partner up with. So I think the way to go is the Philippines and the ASEAN if you are in the digital business and development, and not only fintech, but all the other areas as well, like Web 3.0 and metaverses and all the cool and new stuff. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and I hope that everyone gets their interest in attending this conference next month.
Thank you, Mr. Laszlo, for sharing your updates and insights regarding BJP. Now we move on to our panel discussion. To start off, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our panelists for today. Our first panelist is Mr. Tomasz Siglady, the professional lead of Hungarian Blockchain Coalition. Our second panelist is Mr. Joby Laszlo, the Managing Director of Digital Success Nonprofit. Next, our third panelist is Mr. Francis Plaza, a startup founder, an angel investor, and the co-founder of PayMongo. We also have here Mr. Alexander Titov as our fourth panelist. He is a business mentor at Digitalis Jolet. Filling the final seat is attorney Jose Antonio Alibing, the managing partner of Acube Law. Also joining the panel, let us welcome again Her Excellency Dr. Titanila Tot of Embassy of Hungary and the Ambassador of Hungary to the Philippines. Now to call back again on the virtual stage, our moderator for today's panel, Ms. Amor Maclang, convener of Digital Pilipinas and World FinTech Festival, Executive Director and Trustee of FinTech Philippines Association, and the co-founder of Geyser Maclang Communications. Take it away, Ms. Amor.
Kosanom Sepen to all of you. And I think many of those who are watching in our Facebook pages right now, either on the Hungarian or in the Philippine side, are all very eager to hear what is the state of doing business in those two regions, because that's the first thing that people want to hear about. So maybe we can start off on the Philippine side, if we can hear from Attorney John Aliling to give us a quick overview as to the ease of doing business in the Philippines and as a possibility of the Philippines being a jumping board for ASEAN. Attorney John?
Hi, Amor. Thank you. Good morning and good afternoon to everyone. We're very excited about the changes that's happening with the Philippines right now. The recent laws that have been enacted or the recent moves of the government clearly shows that we are very committed to make the Philippines a very business-friendly environment. No? We've actually teched up a lot of government agencies, specifically the SEC is one very good example that has teched up a lot and has really shortened the turnaround time for a corporation to be able to set up and start business. In fact, they have a one-day conversion wherein you can immediately have an entity the next day. So these are the developments that we have. And we also, aside from the technological side or the legal side, we also have the environment itself. Is very open to foreign investment. We are an English-speaking nation. We are very hospitable. Our culture actually welcomes a very global environment. So we welcome a lot of industries coming in here. Thank you.
But how's your Hungarian?
Oh, very bad. At the moment. You have to bring me there, Amor.
Absolutely, absolutely. You just have to take in the waters of Budapest and you'll be converted. Speaking of which, Francis actually joined us in the last trip, and I think is one of the converts along with myself with how beautiful Budapest is. Were you surprised at the level of technological advancement that Hungary offered as an ecosystem, Francis?
Yes, Amor, totally. I was surprised. Guys, I actually had a chance to live in Europe for 1 year, many years ago, but I never had the chance to visit Hungary for some reason. And I was very amazed and surprised. And thanks, Amor, for the strong recommendations to actually, meet a lot of people, meet the ecosystem, as well as actually go around the city. But actually, one of the things that surprised me was how invigorating and big the startup community and the tech community in Hungary actually is, more than I realized. And in fact, I think one of the early Hungarian startups, I think the name is Prezi, was one of the tools that I used many, many years ago in college. And to my surprise, I didn't even realize it was Hungarian. So to me, like knowing that, I was very excited to know a lot more about the ecosystem and would love to be able to collaborate forward.
So, Francis, before we move on to our friends in Hungary, everyone's been warning about the investment and the crypto winter that's currently happening. I tell people we do not have winter in Southeast Asia. Tell us about your experience thus far as one of the few leading fintechs in ASEAN that actually got funded during this supposed winter.
Yes, for sure. I guess to give a little bit of background, about myself and then the industry I'm in. So my background is in software engineering. So I've always, still up until now, considered myself a very deep technology enthusiast. I still write code until today. And how I got into fintech was basically just out of accident. Trying to build many different startups over the last 5 years in the Philippines, and realizing that one of the biggest pain points any startup faced when building here in this country was that it was very hard to connect to many financial services. If you're a small business, it was not even possible. So inspired by that, we realized that we wanted to build something that anyone, whether you're a small business, a startup, whether you're in Manila or some remote city in this country, you should be able to succeed on the internet. And this was a year before the pandemic, and little did we realize that overnight, when the pandemic hit, many were forced to adopt online. And a lot of startups could tell their own pandemic success stories that technology actually not just democratized access, but it really allowed more people to think about how they could innovate more, even in challenging times. And I guess, to use a more term, the winter, in fact, allowed many people to be even more creative and innovative. So for us, it allowed us to onboard, from 100 to now 10,000 businesses on our platform. We work with them every day and grew our volume from $1,000 to hundreds of millions of dollars. So that's, over a period of 3 years. So with that, we were so excited with the growth, not just in our company, but in the Philippines. And I suppose that's the story that allowed us not only to grow the team, the company, but also to fundraise over a period of 3 years. And now we're among the few Series B companies in the Philippines.
Thanks, Francis. Ambassador Tita, you have a very good perspective into both countries. What do you think are the qualities of both countries that make it really ideal for the two of them to work together?
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for giving this nice overview from the Philippines side. Actually, what I can say that, as you mentioned, and I would like to bring attention to that too, that you said that we are, a little treasure in the heart of Europe. 10 million of population of Hungary. But on the other side, if we look at the Philippines and the ASEAN itself, that you have the second highest population. More than 110 million people living here. The average age of the country currently is, 25 years old. So It's like ideas and young generation is everywhere where we are looking at. And what we can do and help for you if you take Hungary as your strong partner from the European Union, I think is that from one point of view is what we can offer our knowledge transfer centric mindset. So as Laszlo said before, we are really strong at knowledge export. So we don't want to hide anything. We love to share. We love to promote our ideas, and we are really open for new ideas and newcomers to Europe. Why I'm saying Europe? Because we are part of the European Union. So once you are in one of the EU countries, and why to choose Hungary then out of the others? One is a simple thing that, you know, our government set up a really good system for companies and collaboration, joint ventures, and so on and so forth. It's at the end of the day, it's always business. So if you look at the taxation, for example, our tax system, we are the only country in Europe with a single-digit corporate tax rate, which is 9%. So, you know, it's all about the money. If we look at that point of view, it's 1 point for Hungary. Second point, you know, friendly, lovely people in the heart of Europe, and we are on the same platform from historical point of view too. So we are a Catholic Christian-based country, such as the Philippines, different historical background, maybe because of the distance, but the cultural and mindset is so close to each other. On the other hand, what I can see is that if we look at the map, you have your ASEAN friends around you. We have our EU friends around us. So on a holistic point of view, these two platforms can come closer to each other. Under the Digital Success Program, what is, for example, Laszlo and his partners are doing, he is moving around the ASEAN. Many other embassies, you know, Hungarian embassies are telling to me, the ambassadors are a good friend of mine saying that, oh, Laszlo was here, Laszlo was in Jakarta, Laszlo was in Singapore, and so on and so forth. So he's really active. The Digital Success Program is really active. So they already know the ecosystem of the ASEAN. So potentially, you don't need to start from 0 or -2. He's already on the advanced level on the ASEAN. And this is what we would like to also ask from the Digital Filipinas, as you, Amor, was in Hungary, and I'm very happy about that, that bring more attention, bring more companies to Hungary. It's fully supported by the Hungarian government. All the other embassies, the Hungarian embassies in the region, they are also focusing on this area, the ICT, the fintech, also startups. We have this knowledge already, so don't be afraid, just come to us and we're happy to help.
It's just my regret that I could not talk about the other things I love about Hungary, and I have to limit to just talking about technology. So if ever there's a webinar, Ambassador, related to the other things you love about Hungary, I think Francis and myself would be more than happy to make time for that. At this point, I'd like to hear from Joby, who's really been at the core and at the heart of the Digital Success Program. You've been to the Philippines, you've been to the rest of ASEAN, as Ambassador Toth said. What do you think makes the Philippines an ideal partner for not just Hungary, but also for other European Union countries? Joby?
Thank you very much. I think we have been discussing this just yesterday, that we have, you know, as Excellency said, I've been traveling a lot in the Asian countries, and I think the most similar to our culture is the Philippines, and I see the openness of the Philippines, of the people. And I think that we have the same problems to deal with, or not problems, but challenges. If we are talking about fintech, we have the same challenges, but in a much higher volume in the ASEAN countries. And I think that our companies can partner up and do something great, because in Hungary, as we are part of the European Union, there are, I think, the strictest rules. I think the rules of the regulation of the European Union is the strictest all over the world, like the GDPR and PSD2 and the validation mechanisms and the banking regulations and so. So all those companies, even the smallest of the startups that can fulfill these regulations, the GDPR, the PSD2, they have the banking authorizations and everything like that. And even the Hungarian regulation is even tougher than the normal EU regulation. If they can be dealing with this, I think they can earn the trust of the people living outside of the EU, especially in the ASEAN area, who are open. But as the market is open and blooming, and all the new startups are appearing, there's always, I come from the field of IT security, so I always have to say that there are two times when the risks are high of and the IT security is most spoken of. One is the war and the crisis, and the other is when everything is going just fine and everything is blooming and money is just flowing and nobody is caring about how what wrong can happen. So I think the discipline of these Hungarian companies can be welcome in the ASEAN area, and along with the openness of the ASEAN companies, it can be something great.
I think, Joby, we need to organize a joint mission that connects Europe through Hungary and ASEAN through the Philippines. So that's something that you and I and Ambassador Tots should talk about when you come down. As part of the Hungarian contingent joining the inaugural Philippine FinTech Festival, I'm super excited to meet in person for the first time Tamás. The reason for this is because the Philippines, compared to the rest of the digital assets in the Web3 world, we play a very, very distinctive role. And I think I echo our chair for blockchain and decentralized assets, Wei, of Coins.xyz, when he talks about the unique role of the Philippines in relation to the rest of the metaverse, which is we not only consume coins in great amounts, but we also are a prolific creator of NFTs. So Tamás, give us an overview of the Web3, the metaverse, and the blockchain space in Hungary. And what are you looking for when you come down to the Philippines next month?
Well, yes, thank you very much, Amor, and hello to everyone. So basically, the technology itself needs promotion, and it's not just something Hungarian specific thing, but all over the world, the blockchain technology is facing the same problem, that it's difficult to communicate the real benefits of blockchain because it's complicated, and also the technology is in a sort of accommodation phase. So there are still questions to be answered, and I think that's why we need to promote the technology, regardless if we speak about NFTs, metaverse, coins, or consensus methods, or the infrastructure, because it's always a big question how we can match the country strategies, and how we can involve the blockchain technology in the national strategies. And if we start to explore the potentials of the cooperation, there is actually one way to listen to each other. And if we start to listen to each other, we will listen to ourselves as well, and maybe we can find the answers, like what kind of strategies to implement. Just like in case of Hungary, the big questions, I mean, in national level, like energy consumption, water, food, automotive industry, and so on and so forth. So the blockchain technology is, besides Web3 coins and metaverse, is actually an industrial technology as well. So if we are talking about blockchain developers, in some cases, you know, sometimes it's a public technology, creating coins and tokens and sharing all the information. So this is the main benefit of the technology, to share information. But in some cases, blockchain is actually something very secure, and there is a sort of secrecy and protecting data. Because if you're talking about corporate blockchains, actually it's more about the corporate data, how to protect and how to share it with your trusted partners. So my question, and actually what I would like to explore and share this knowledge with the Hungarian market and share it to each other. What are your answers to these questions? So I would phrase it this way, because if we answer to this to each other, we will have better answers to ourselves.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Tomasz. Actually, I wanted to maybe ask you later on the types of businesses that you'd like to partner with here in the Philippines. So hold that thought. Dr. Titov, how are you? Good to see you again.
Yeah, thank you. Nice to see you again. Hello to everyone. So I'm Alexander Titov. I work for together with Laszlo for Digital Success Program of Hungary and Department for Digital Export Development. So we work directly with the entire digital ecosystem, national ecosystem of Hungary, and with those companies what we already were mentioned. And we are not really limited in way of sectors. It's not only fintech and blockchain, artificial intelligence, agri-tech, edu-tech, smart cities, very also strong department of us, and logistics, digital logistics. So we are really have really wide scope of technologies to offer to foreign markets. And me and my colleagues, being a business mentors, we are providing comprehensive analysis and information support for our partner companies. And so we already had, along with the conventional cooperations in Europe, for example, with Italy, and being members of digital European Digital SME Alliance, Hungarian government also pays attention for other regions in the world, for example, for Central Asia, for Central Africa, and now we turn to ASEAN as well. So it's, I think, very open-minded and very strategical vision how to promote Hungarian export in technologies. And I just would like to emphasize that I will be a part of the delegation to Philippine FinTech Festival, and already we have about 10 companies in sector of blockchain and fintech who are interested to participate. And then I would like to state and like to ensure that we together with my colleagues, we will provide the best support for those who would like to participate or just to attend to the festival online, even online, because we might be their representatives and to promote and to provide their voice on the spot. And I would like to thank the ambassador and our colleagues, and also I'm looking forward to meet Mr. Francis, Mr. Jan, and you, of course, Amor, again in Philippines. And I'm looking forward for great cooperation with the whole ASEAN region.
So am I understanding it correctly, Joby, that if we work closely with the Digital Success Program, you can also allow us to open up to other regions that you're working with, such as, for example, Central Asia, Central Europe, Central Africa? That's kind of like what I took from Dr. Titov's talk.
Of course. Amor. Yeah, the strategy for foreign trade of the Hungarian government is for the last nearly 10 years that we should focus on the South and the East. So when we launched this program and started the technological transfer of the digital goods of Hungary and the digital companies of Hungary, that were the areas we started to be dealing with, and we found huge openness. There is always something that we have in common. The common past, the common present, or the common future. And we're focusing on the common future with all these areas. And of course, most of these areas we don't want to export like directly. So many of these goods and also software is hard to export directly because of the cultural differences, the language barriers, the physical transportation costs and so on. So we realized very soon that we don't want to conquer the world. We rather want to partner up with the local entities, the local companies, and do some business together. Because when a Hungarian company wants to enter the Philippine market, or a Philippine company wants to enter the EU market, the local counterpart knows about the market, about the people, about the culture, and the other one provides the technology. And I think this works both ways in our case with the ASEAN and Hungary.
Joby and Ambassador Tita, I think that should be the focus of the next level of our cooperation, is creating that bridge between those two regions and continuously ensuring that there is interest in Europe through Hungary and in ASEAN through the Philippines. Francis, what types of technologies are you looking for in terms of partnerships? Like, for example, we brought over and introduced to Ambassador our first ever unicorn in the Philippines, and they mentioned the need for more AI interventions, and also at the same time in the sphere of lending. As one of the leading fintechs in the Philippines, what specifically are you looking for in terms of partnerships?
Yes, and I'm sure, of course, there's a lot that this country definitely needs, not just us as a company, but working with tens of thousands of small and medium businesses in the Philippines. I saw a lot of the pain points that many of them face, especially when building their business and going online. One particular one, for example, is the lack of the ability to even just properly manage your business. So that's from not just in payments, but also when it comes to managing your inventory. There's a lot of disconnect when it comes to how do you bring your offline business online. Second, I think mentioned by Amor, there's a lot of need to how do I say it, like streamline a lot of processes for many businesses here, and I believe technology can make it easy to do things like onboarding, for example, which we could use artificial intelligence to make make processes that used to take days to just few minutes. I think there's still a lack of improved technology in this country, and in fact, even our processes that we do today could still improve by magnitudes. And I think finally is also one of the big gaps when it comes to online for us is the function of trust. So most people don't easily trust services on the internet, even in this year of 2022. So I would say, technology that actually bridges that gap. So how do I, answering the questions of how do I transact online without even having to trust that person, right? So things around fraud and security, and maybe that goes back to the idea of artificial intelligence. How do we leverage technology so you can just easily do all those transactions on the internet? And with that, I would believe that the Philippines can go a long way by allowing more innovators like us to just focus on building products and then leverage technology to just help us, succeed in the internet.
Thank you, Francis. Attorney Jan, you represent many technology companies in the Philippines. I would like you to share what is kind of like the profile of the technology companies that you represent, and what opportunities can you actually bring to our partners in Hungary?
Okay, so most of my companies right now in the technology space started with actually fintech, no? So the we have a very big unbanked sector here in the Philippines, and it's something that was easily explored. No? I also have clients in the education sector. No? As you know, Amar, we are here advocates of making the world a little bit more inclusive and accessible, especially for the Filipinos through digital transformation. I'm very happy to be working with a lot of these kinds of companies that are bringing access, no, to the Filipinos, to education, through fintech, no, through helping the unbanked, and also through transportation. No. So these are the profile of the clients that I'm working with right now. No.
Joby, I know you're going to be part of our Tech for Government, Tech for Good panel, but I hope I can impose on you to also join the Prop Tech workshop that's happening also on day one of the Philippine FinTech Festival program. I think the first tranche of fans of Joby in the Philippines came from the other organization that I co-founded, which is the Prop Tech Consortium of the Philippines. So thanks, Joby. Your prop tech friends are all looking forward to hearing from you again. The Smart Cities community. I think at this point, if I understand it correctly, Dr. Tito, we also have a couple of startups, and they'd like to be able to share what they're doing in Hungary and see what possible collaborations we can have with them in the Philippines. Dr. Tito, would you like to introduce them?
Yeah, thank you. But would it be possible to give the voice to the viewers because they should attend?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, but would you know who they? Maybe you can invite them to join and speak up and maybe introduce their companies.
Just give me a couple of minutes to organize it. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. While we're doing that, Tamash, security was one of the things that was raised by Francis and actually continues to be a concern in the Philippines. The Philippines, as of June 2021 of last year, was included in the FATF gray list for cybercrimes. And quite honestly, a lot of it had to do with transgressions in the digital asset space. How do we ensure that we can continue to keep the ecosystem safe and secure, especially in the metaverse? What can Hungarian security companies offer and provide the Philippines?
Yeah, that's a very good and complicated question, and maybe I would let the companies to answer this specific question. But actually, if just getting back to your question from a different perspective, like if you consider blockchain a platform or a standard or a language, it's anyhow international, and anyhow it's very cooperative. So in that sense, sometimes I feel it makes no sense to talk about countries and borders on the blockchain. So I would rather focus on the competencies and capacities what our countries have. And if I focus on Hungary, it should have the developers itself. So basically, we can offer developers, we can offer our existing projects, just like we have very international and global projects, just like if I may mention Hungarian metaverse is Next Earth, and it's the fourth largest global metaverse at this point. And I can also mention Ether Cards, which is an NFT minting platform. They are based in Singapore, by the way, or T-Food, which is a food tracking platform. It's an originally Hungarian platform, but they are very active in Vietnam and Southeast Asia region. So we have these kind of projects. So many of them, it's not only based in Hungary, but they operate in a distributed way. So this is also something we can offer. And definitely the question is that the existing projects which we would like to introduce may have the answers to your question, how they can ensure higher level security in the industry. And also we are eager to hear from the Philippine counterparts, what do they offer and what do they need from Hungarian side?
Yes, I think on the, are you ready, Dr. Tito, to introduce our startups? Because if not yet, I have a question. I think Francis would be in a good position to answer what Tamash said.
I think we could start.
Yeah, you can start.
Yes, a couple of them already joined and they have a right to speak, thanks to Kirsten to organize. And then, for example, we can start with Boton Dwarka.
Yeah. Hi. Hello there. Well, let me just say it's been an absolute pleasure listening to you. It's been a fascinating talk, and all of your perspectives have been thoroughly elucidating. Also, I just wanted to say I lived in Southeast Asia for 5 years, and I had the great privilege of visiting your beautiful country. It's absolutely outstanding. Its natural beauty and the people, very nice. It's an honor to be able to talk to you about collaboration. I'm here representing Peak Financial Services. And so just to briefly introduce my company to all of you, essentially, we've got a branch which is in sort of fintech solutions. So we do development, we do software development, design, everything on that front. But what I think would really be interesting in collaboration with you and with Filipino companies is really our media branch of the company. So we are in charge of the biggest Hungarian fintech newspaper, which is fintech.hu. I think my CEO had the pleasure of meeting some of you at the last event here in Hungary, so you might have talked about that. But I guess if there would be some type of media collaboration, also we've got a consultancy branch of our company where we do sort of research into the fintech economies worldwide, into emerging technologies, its impact around the world. And so, the fact that we've got a very skilled software developer background, and then we've got the consultancy section of the company, and then we've got the news section, means that we've got this really great interdisciplinary team where we can really help you, for example, bring you into the Hungarian market. Not only do we have the connections and the know-how to help you integrate here, but we've got the media presence to, for example, promote Filipino companies, build these strategic partnerships. And to show you some precedent for that, for example, we've built last year very successful, we call it the fintech bridge between Spain and Hungary. So this is sort of a collaboration front on multiple levels of banking and payments and technology with a bunch of Spanish companies. If anyone's interested in this, then they can absolutely reach out to me and I can sort of show you the way we've done these projects in the past. We're also trying to do something very similar with Germany. And so I guess if we manage to get you into the Hungarian market, then it's a very good stepping ground, jumping off point for Filipino companies to then enter and penetrate the whole European market as a whole. And I guess that would be the end of my pitch. But really, if any of you have any questions, I'd love to talk later on. Yeah, don't hesitate to reach out.
And I think we can get started by having you in the Philippines first in October.
Oh, sure. I'd love to. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Kostanong.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Boton. Now I would like to give a floor to Attila Eliud from QB.
I'm terribly sorry, but I have to leave for another meeting. It's so sad. I would really stay, but I have another meeting scheduled. So if we don't meet until then meet us personally in Manila.
No goodbyes, Joby, because we will see you very soon.
Okay, thank you very much and have a nice time. Thank you.
So, good morning and good afternoon to everyone. My name is Attila Eliud and I'm the purchasing and quality manager of the Cube Hungary. Actually, let me start to share a small video with you. Sorry, So, let me introduce ourselves. It's a Hungarian startup based on Budapest. For us, it's essential to produce smart furniture that combines innovative technology and sustainability. This is why we have chosen to work with the solar energy. Our flagship products are the solar powered smart benches. You can choose between their three different sizes, Plus, Nano, and Eco, which makes it easy to find their perfect model for any location. They are equipped with USB ports and wireless chargers for small devices and unlimited free Wi-Fi hotspot function. They are charged exclusively by solar energy. The batteries are used renewable energy only. The place of installation is flexible and they are fully introducing. Even the public utilities are difficult to access. The benches continuously monitor their environment, temperature change, UV level, air quality, humidity, and air pressure, and forward the data to the server or notify the owner if necessary. They have a 2.4-inch RGB displays and RGB ambient LED light. All of our products are made of 100% aluminum, stainless, recyclable aluminum chassis, and tempered glass. Because of the durable quality, there is no need to deal with the environmental impact of the waste due to the depredation. No. Besides sustainability, optimal heat dissipation and longevity were our main objectives during the designing process. Cube smart furniture are made for the B2B market. Our products are designed for public spaces, community venues. Therefore, our primary target groups are local governments, institutions, event centers, hotels, festivals, beaches, and so on. So that's what I want to tell you about our company and our products.
I think I met your founder when I was in, I believe I met your founder. Thank you for sharing this, and we hope to see you. We have a very robust smart cities and prop tech group here in the Philippines. It's actually one of those areas that I've been really particularly interested in, because I understand, Ambassador, from Joby before, that Hungary also has their own barangays, like similar to the Philippines. So we look forward to having you, Attila.
Thank you.
Yeah, and please don't forget, Attila, to mention that you have already one bench in Bangkok, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm really jealous about it that, for example, we don't have any here in BGC close to the embassy.
Actually, we have one more bench soon in Kuala Lumpur. So not only one is in that area.
Okay, so here in Manila, we are waiting for you.
We'll find you, Ambassador, and I will find you the space. Just get the bench in, right, Ambassador?
Yeah, you know, next year will be the 50th anniversary of the Philippines-Hungary diplomatic relations. Perfect to make a bench, a memorial bench, a smart bench, you know, to dedicate to this relationship. Then, Amor, we can sit together on it.
And not just that, I can get an artist to dress it up so that the bench in the Philippines is going to be the most beautiful bench in ASEAN.
The friendship bench.
Yes. Shall we make that a project, Ambassador?
That sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you, Attila. We'll take you up on that. Thank you. Dr. Tito.
All right. Bye.
Yes, and I see Mike Vita is here. Are you ready to speak on code cluster?
Yes, I'm ready. And can you see me? Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Hi. Nice to meet you, all of you. Actually, it's an honor and a pleasure, of course. I think that you have met already with one of my colleagues, Mrs. Maklang. There was an event in August with where they introduced my company, Codecluster. I'm the CEO, and he is the CEO of it. His name is Dinesh Chisar. I think you have met with him. So about ourselves and about myself as well. So we've been in the IT industry since 2016. We've been operating in the Web3 world since 2018. We have made a consulting firm in 2018, parallelly with CodeLuster, and after we have changed to development only, we are in the metaverse and Web3 space. And I'm also co-founder of a big metaverse startup. I was the angel investor and chief of operations as well. So I've started scaling up it from scratch, from 2 people to more than 100, and we've made. I was the only angel investor behind the project. It's called Nextverse. It's a well-known project in the world, and we've made more than $12 million in 9 months while I was the chief of operations with the project. So we are very proud of this project. But I built up the whole management team, and I went back to my seat at CodeLusters to grab new projects. So right now we are working on a lot of metaverse and Web3 projects from all around the world. We have 3 areas from partners. One is from the East Coast. We have a partner, and we have also a firm in New York City, and we have got a lot of clients from this area. We've got one in the EU, based here in Budapest, and we are thinking about also going to Amsterdam as well. With one of our partners, and also we have got one partner and one firm in Dubai for the Middle East region. So we are working with partners from Dubai and with Saudi Arabic region. And what is very exciting from our perspective, and what also we have started a discussion with Dinesh in August regarding that how can the 2 companies cooperate at this level, since we state ourselves as a system integrator company on the market, since we do the planning and also the business understanding of the metaverse and Web3 projects, and after we can do the delivery part together.
Thank you. Yes, I remember having met your CEO, and I think to situate yourself in the Philippines as a base for ASEAN is great, because we not only, like I said, have one of the most use cases, and we're also prolific creators in the NFT space. Yep. Look forward to having you, Mike.
Yep. I think we should keep in touch. I probably be out in the Philippines in October. I will talk to Jabi regarding that. But if not, we can meet in the virtual space always, since I think there's a lot of place for collaborations between the 2 firms. Since, as you mentioned, we have got the expertise for these use cases, and I think we could build up projects from scratch together.
Awesome. Forget about the festival. Ambassador Tita is throwing a big party for all of us. And okay. She promised that there's going to be a special place in the party for technologists. Okay, all of you.
Nice. Especially I love parties more than festivals. So yeah.
Well, we'll have both festival and parties.
Yeah, of course.
Philippine FinTech Festival.
Yeah, both the best. Thank you very much.
So. Thank you. I would like to invite the next presenter, Silvia Horti from Whitehead IT Security.
We need that.
I'll just start the video quickly. Hi, my name is Silvia Horti, and I'm the engagement lead of Whitehead IT Security, and it is very nice to meet you all virtually. I would like to introduce Whitehead IT Security, an on-demand and managed security services provider based in the EU with current offices in Hungary and Germany, but we are in the process of opening our Southeast Asian and Central European offices in order to sort of shift over to a 24/7 follow the sun service structure. So that is something that we hope will happen within the next year, actually. Our team consists of IT security seniors. All of our colleagues have EU and NATO secret level clearances, and which allows us to participate even in the most sensitive projects all around the globe. And our team holds all of the top international certifications as objective metrics of our competence. Our portfolio includes on-demand and managed services. Our on-demand activities are mostly centered around vulnerability research, including penetration testing and classic security consulting. We also do incident response, both rapid response due to a private helicopter at our disposal and full scope incident management, mostly in some cases. We also have a training portfolio, including security awareness trainings optimized for different target groups. And we have a Europe-wide unique enterprise defense training that we have developed called White Hat Certified Defender Training for security team members and the entire security teams. But our flagship products that most of our activities are based in and which we are most proud of is the White Hat Managed Security Services, our most rapidly growing engagement. I'll try and share my screen with you just quickly. Just so you can see what I am talking about. White Hat MSF ranges from managed detection and response, which is basically a remote talk, to our full 24/7 security as a service. That also includes extra services like penetration testing or phishing campaigns, ISMS development, awareness trainings, assessments, or free incident response. The pandemic has showed us more than anything that old-fashioned perimeter security is not viable anymore and has brought basically a fundamental paradigm shift in cybersecurity to zero trust policy and the protection of information where it is actually available on the endpoints themselves. But this needs full multi-platform coverage. White Hat Managed Security offers complete protection for all platforms, be it Microsoft or Linux, desktop or server, Android or iOS. We have a mobile-focused solution which is optimized for remote work circumstances. Our strategic partners are Microsoft, market-leading Microsoft, with whom we are constantly building and elevating our cooperation, and mobile endpoint protection giant Zimperium, which is also Google's market leader mobile security partner. Basically, as you can see here, these are the services that we offer within our managed portfolio. We can elevate your security effectively and immediately, even in a forced home office situation. And our service portfolio, which you can see here, can be tailored to customer needs and best fit. Our international references include companies like Audi of the Volkswagen Group, Graphisoft, an amateur company, KUKA Robotics, German security manufacturer Mobotics, or Aegis Pharmaceuticals of the Servier Group. White Hat MSS protected networks reach around the globe with over 42,000 endpoints protected globally in over 35 countries, from Japan to Mexico. So we do really have a global presence. Thank you for your kind attention. And if you have any questions, if you would like more information or even a video chat to discuss special needs or best fit, reach out to me at any time. Thank you for your kind attention.
So I'm sorry to geek out a little bit, but I'm particularly interested in White Hat IT security. Dr. Titov and Ambassador, we hope we can find a way to get them here. Working with White Hat hackers, crowdsourcing White Hat hackers from all over the world. I think we in the Philippines have a lot of amazing White Hat hackers. I was actually invited. Ongoing this weekend is actually the biggest RootCon, which is the largest White Hat hacker event in the Philippines. Unfortunately, I could not join them, but I've been supporting them for many years now. So we look forward to having you, hopefully, in the Philippines.
Okay, yeah, we would love to go.
Yay! Ambassador, your party's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And you know that's the beautiful in this conversation, which we have just started a few months ago, but it's already a lot of things happening.
Has it just been a few months? Yeah. Ambassador, it feels like forever.
Yeah, and here what I wanted to say that here in the Philippines, everyone loves to say, oh, it's a holistic approach. But this is what is happening here. It's really that. Because I'm thinking about it that, you know, if we can showcase this many B2B and also, you know, ongoing discussions and the roundtable discussions and all this brainstorming, what we do together to the government, I mean, on both sides, government of Hungary, government of the Philippines, who really needs, for example, smart solutions on the smart cities, e-governance, cyber security, which has just mentioned, it's really a proof of them also to support us and support those companies who are even maybe far from each other physically, but so close in the mindset. So that could be a beautiful, beautiful, connection already to see that how the government could be involved also, because those are the topics in which, for example, IT security is really a specific, very legally also detailed sector. So we can bring the attention to this, for example, to the government, as we mentioned, our good friends from DTI, DOST, DICT, so on and so forth on your side, and also on the Hungarian government side. I'm sure that this kind of strong and firm cooperations can have a really high level attention.
Thank you. Dr. Titov, let's hear from more of your startups.
I think one more, it's Andras Nickel from Intermap. Andras.
Hello, you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, and you see me as well? Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, join as panelist, right?
Ambassador, I think after the webinar today, we're going to have a much bigger Hungarian contingent coming down. And since day one, which is the 17th, is going to be more regulatory, maybe we can organize like a meetup between our partners and just specific to the Hungarian group. So anyway, Andreas?
Yes, thank you very much. I guess now you hear and see me as well, right?
You started screen sharing, yes.
Yes, exactly. Just tell me when it's working.
We see. Yes, it's working. Just go.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so thank you very much for having me. I am Andras Nickel. I present Intermap as general manager, and the closest I have been to your region is Singapore, but I have met with the Philippine people, and all of them were really nice, and was a pleasure to meet with such people. And just in the past couple of days, I have been researching the ecosystem and the tech environment that is in your region. And I was really shocked that you have such a massive and broad ecosystem in your area. So I will definitely go on with my research, and hopefully, and hopefully I will be able to be present in the Philippines as well, at least in a hybrid form. Anyway, that is why the metaverse was invented, to be able to present in multiple places at the same time. So we Intermap, and we have been developing software for more than 20 years. Our products include Geometer, which is a hardware. It's a mobile mapping device. It's the same as Google uses, as you see in Google Cars. It was made for mapping. It includes its embedded software as well. Our software for evaluating this data is FortiMap AI, which is an image recognition software, and the feature extraction, a centimeter accurate feature extraction software. And our services, let's talk about our services. We do custom software development for governmental and private clients as well, just like the Budapest Police. Custom AI image recognition software, and anything that is development related to artificial intelligence and machine learning. And we are open and happy to cooperate abroad as we did in the past 5 years in Turkey, Eastern Europe, and in the USA. And we are also looking for value-added resellers, agents, or any kind of partners that we can work with. So thank you very much for your attention, and hopefully we will find some common ground.
Thank you very much. Amor, I think it was the last speech for today, but be sure that we will deliver all the information to the other interested parties and companies regarding the festival and regarding the delegation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tito. I think at this point, I have nothing more to say except the biggest kosanam to all of you. But I'd like to turn it over to the person who made this partnership happen, Ambassador Tita Tot, to close.
Thank you very much, Amor, and thank you for this wonderful hospitality, always what the Philippines create to us, foreigners. And I'm always saying that, you know, I'm here in the ASEAN more than 7 years now. I visited many of the countries, but as you're saying, it's more fun in the Philippines. So I would like to encourage the companies to come here, see what the Philippines can offer to them. I'm not the ambassador of the Philippines. I'm the ambassador of Hungary, definitely. So I just want to encourage them, come here, see with their own eyes what's happening here, because I strongly believe that's the right momentum to build up this close cooperation, maybe on a higher level, a real friendship in this sector, because there's no better momentum what we can catch Hungarians in the ASEAN, and definitely the Philippines would be a perfect gateway for us, not just because of the mindset which I mentioned, but generally how the new government is taking the opportunity and bringing the attention of the foreign companies to the Philippine market. But also besides the government, the whole ecosystem is really open now. We have a lot Hungarians to offer to it and build strong friendship on that. So I would be happy to accommodate the companies from Hungary, and also in any time if there is a Philippine delegation would like to go on behalf of the Digital Filipinas, our embassy is open. We have our own trade office, which is always welcome you and help you in any cases. So thank you very much. Thank you for this wonderful afternoon, morning in Hungary, and see each other in October.
See you all. Thank you. We'd like to turn it over to Kirsten and Kiara. Thank you.
Thank you to all our speakers and guests for sharing your knowledge about how we can all work together towards new innovations to provide better customer experience, services, and cross-border collaborations in the decentralized technologies and fintech landscape, and how we can play a greater role in tackling up the Philippines, Hungary, Europe, and the ASEAN. We would like to invite everyone to the inaugural Philippine FinTech Festival, set to be the country's largest digital economies festival, happening on October 17 to 21 at the Green Sun Makati, the home of Digital Pilipinas. To the valued partners and friends of Digital Pilipinas and Hungary, their network can enjoy a 50% discount off of the regular rate by using the special access code HungaryXPFF, which will be in effect from September 26 onwards. Yes, you will be the first one to know about this promo code. Please do take note of the following rules for this promo. First, it cannot be used in conjunction with other discount codes. And second, it can only be applied to single pass purchases. Please get the word out to your network, partners, and stakeholders so that together we can push for a more expansive digital inclusion in the country and move towards shaping Asia's digital economy. Thank you very much once again, everyone, for your participation in this webinar. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much. everyone from Hungary. It was really wonderful. I'm so proud of the Hungarian team. Yeah.
Maraming salamat. Which is basically Kosonom, right? Did I say?
Yes, maraming salamat. And really, thank you for the companies. It was really, really good asset to that. I loved it.
Seriously, Ambassador, one of the best. I know the webinar is kind of closed already, but Ambassador, so since people are coming in on the 16th and the 17th, the 17th is only a half day. In the morning, I'd love for Joby to speak on soup